Hey, my name is Lion and welcome to Liontel Gaming. On August 11th, Final Fantasy XIV is releasing its patch 5.3, and with it comes a major update to the free trial. The free trial will now include the base game of Realm Reborn and the first expansion called Heavensward. Players will be able to experience all playable content including leveling to 60, the Dark Knight, Machinist, and Astrologian jobs, and free trial players will be able to create a character of the Eorzea race. With this huge and awesome announcement, there is no doubt a lot of people will be looking to get into the game, so I thought I would make a video with tips and advice to welcome all new players to Eorzea. So I'm going to try my best, but if I forget anything, feel free to leave your comments below, and if I get enough of them, I can always make a part 2 video. So before we start, if you could limit break that sub button, it is super important for the channel, and give it a thumbs up if you like the video. I really appreciate all the support and help. First question you're probably wondering is if this game is even worth your time, and that's absolutely. I love this game, and I actually just made a video called 5 Reasons Why You Should Be Playing Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm new to this, so I'm gonna try and put the link to that up above in the video, but if I can't, I will be sure to link the video in the description below. So my second piece of advice is don't rush and try to enjoy the story. 14 places a lot of time and effort on story development and developing atmosphere and wonderful characters. It is something to experience and play through, and it's definitely worth your time. So I know a lot of new players just want to play through and get to endgame and that kind of stuff, or at least the second expansion. So just take your time and try to get as much as you can out of this story, because you're going to be clicking through a lot of dialogue, so you might as well get something out of it. If you want to or you have to rush, click through A Realm Reborn, but don't skip Heavensward. It is worth your time, and that expansion is fantastic. But let's say that you don't really care about the story, or you just want to know the fastest and best way to level. Well, the best way to level is actually playing through the main story quest. It should take you through all the levels and to exactly where you need to go. You can take a break, do some dungeons, do your hunt log. It's a really solid experience. You just pull it up, find and kill the creature the X amount of times that it tells you, and you get bonus experience. One thing to remember too is to always eat food in game. Any food will give you plus 3% experience, so it's not that much, but over time, over 60 levels, it'll add up real quick. So, and it doesn't even matter what kind of food you eat. At low levels and even low level dungeons, you're pretty much just going to run through it. So even if the stats aren't for your class, just eat it and get the experience boost from it. People won't flame you for it, nobody's even looking, honestly. So just remember to have the food buff up at all times. So in 14, there are 2 quest markers you really want to pay attention and look out for. The first one is obviously the main story quest, and then the second one I will show you here too. This is called a feature quest. So if you see these on the map, make sure you complete these, because once you do, you will unlock a feature, meaning like a new dungeon, a new trial, a new class, any sort of like new addition or something to unlock in the game will be a feature quest. So make sure you keep your eye out for these quests as well. They are super important and add a lot of fun and interesting things to the game as well. Oh, along with the main story quests, please pay attention to your class quests as well. In A Realm Reborn, you'll get them every 5 levels. They'll often give you armor or a new ability for your class, and then in Heavensward, you'll get them every 2 levels. So make sure you pay attention to those and complete those as well. Final Fantasy XIV allows you to play any class or job on one character. All you have to do is complete a quick quest to acquire that job, and then you can switch to it at any time. All you have to do is switch the main hand weapon, and then you will change to that job. Now let's say you just unlocked a new job and you tried it out and you really love it and you want to level as that job now. So now you're panicked because you picked all the quest rewards and armor based off of your previous job and you want to level as the new one. So don't worry, there are NPCs that you can buy armor from, and like the best place I can tell you to get them is from like the capital cities. So I'll show you where you can buy armor at each capital city. And if you need to, you can pause the video and take a screenshot. I'll show you what it looks like in-game as well as the map location, so you can screenshot that as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you can buy weapons from a vendor in the same area as well. So again, nothing to worry about. So for Gridania, you can find it here. For Limsa, you can find it here. And for Ulta, you can find it here. So as you play the game and progress, you'll join something what is called a Grand Company. This is like declaring allegiance for something like Stormwind or Ironforge in Warcraft. This is like a capital city, and this is who you'll represent in like PvP and stuff. It's not a huge decision, not too much goes into it. It's just kind of where some things will be located for you. So once you join a Grand Company at level 20, you'll look for a quest. It'll be a featured quest, we talked about that previously, but a featured quest called My Little Chocobo. This will be your first mount, this will be your best buddy until all the way until Shadowbringer. So make sure you're on the lookout for My Little Chocobo. Oh, and going with that, at level 30, be on the lookout for a quest, and again, feature quest is called My Feisty Little Chocobo. And I'll show you where to find that now. It's in South Shroud. Look for this guy, and he will give you the My Feisty Little Chocobo quest. And the Chocobo will be your companion. Your Chocobo will fight alongside you, and you can make them a tank, DPS, or healer. Having a companion will help out a lot. It'll help you get through some tougher fights, but it's just fun to have your Chocobo fight along with you, and a nice little touch of the game. So again, South Shroud, My Feisty Little Chocobo. So another piece of advice is to ask questions. If you can't find something, if you're worried about something, ask in general chat. If you just joined a dungeon, ask questions in there. If it's your first time in a dungeon, feel free to let everybody there know, because they'll help and guide you along if they're not new. But don't hesitate to just ask questions, because the community of Final Fantasy XIV is fantastic. Everybody seems to be really nice, and I can honestly say that through since I played off and on since launch. So feel free to ask questions, especially if you join a dungeon and you're worried about messing up a mechanic. And early dungeons, you really don't have to worry about that all too much. But again, just tell everybody that you're new, and I'm sure they'll be glad to help you. Next is to join a free company or guild. This is an MMO after all, so having friends and people to run content with always makes the experience more enjoyable. And even if you can't run content with people or something, guilds usually have a buff going on, and it's constant, it's throughout like the entire day. And usually most guilds have the experience buff on, so just by joining a guild, you'll be getting extra experience just passively, just from having the buff up. So if anything, you can get the experience buff, and then hopefully you can make some friends. One aspect I would caution on though is just joining any guild. You could just be walking around and you'll get a guild invite. Be careful with those, because they just invite everybody, they are massive, and if you're really looking for a community and friends to play with, that's probably not the way to go. If you're just after the experience buff, sure, you'll be fine, but just watch and don't accept any guild invites if you're looking for actual people to run content with. So my final piece of advice is to simply have fun. This is a beautiful game, it is well worth it, and if you enjoy yourself, I would recommend buying the game and getting Shadowbringers. I don't think you'll regret it. Shadowbringers is one of the best stories told in an MMO, and possibly for a Final Fantasy. It is wonderful. It's one of those stories that leaves a piece of itself with you after you finish it. And it's one of those stories where you question your actions and see the story from someone else's perspective. So again, if you enjoy the game, I highly recommend picking up Shadowbringers and getting a character to max level, and then you get to experience endgame content as well. So there's tons of stuff to do, and we can make a video on that at some point as well, but highly recommend Shadowbringers. So that is it for the tips and advice video for new players. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate the support. Live streaming links in the description below. If there's anything I missed, please leave your tips in the comments below. Please take care of each other, and I will see you very soon in Eorzea. Peace.